So in these factory drive shafts, they have the universal joints held in with plastic, and you got to burn them out. Then you can put the new ones back in with clips. So today, I'm going to be swapping the yoke off the regular cab, which has a hole in it from the factory, and it's leaking like a sieve, to the one that came off of my extended cab, which is an 06, which doesn't have a hole in it, that matches the transmission that I just put in this regular cab short bed. So let's burn this out of here the rest of the way. I'll swap them over and put some U-joints in. It also burns all the old transmission fluid off so I can paint it and make it look pretty. Heat rises, so I try to do the bottom one first. Here comes the top. That's pretty much all we're going to get out of this one. Well, that's hot, so I ain't touching that. But now that all the plastic's been burnt out, I got it out of all of them. You can see down here. That's about all you really get out of the plastic in a stock drive shaft. The U-joints were good, but I got to swap the yokes over so they match up and my transmission quits leaking all over the ground because the transmission ain't leaking. I'll show you why. Let's go ahead and beat this yoke out and I'll show you the difference and compare the two yokes in case you have this problem. You can weld it up, but I'm just going to swap them because it's kind of like it matches and it goes with. So let's get this beat up and get out of here. So I got the drive shaft bottomed out in a vise to where it won't go down anymore. And you have to actually hold the part that you're beating. If you were to flip it and try to drive the yoke, drive the U-joint out through the yoke, you just be beating nothing because you have to hold this to beat it through. So let's get it off of the drive shaft first, then we'll put this end in the vise and beat the U-joint out the other side. 19mm socket and a BFH. Let's get it. One. So now that I've got it down, get all funky here, because I don't care if I beat on this one. You go ahead and tap it forward. Is that it? It's close. All right, one down, one more to go. Still gotta burn this one out, but that's a rinse repeat process. So let's drive this one out now. To hold it in the vise, punch it through. That's him. So same thing, you can't really take the bearing cap off. You have to kind of like wedge it out of there. So get it close. Get you a beater screwdriver. Knock it past. Where you want to get the cap on the other side of the loop. Pretty sure there's an easier way, but I don't have one. Sometimes it works one way, sometimes it works the other. That was a good joint. It had 200-some thousand miles on it, but this is what I was trying to show y'all in the beginning. This is the yoke off my 2006 over here. That's the 2006 yoke. That's the 2001 yoke. And man, I might be able to get the light and show y'all what I'm talking about. So this hole right here, you can kind of see the light. Put my pen light in it. It goes all the way through. And that's where my transmission fluid was leaking from. So yeah, I could weld this up And I might do it, keep it for a later date vehicle. But this one is solid, inside and out. And I'll just, since I was going to change the joints on it anyway, because I don't want to send it with old joints, you go ahead and press those in the old drive shaft, clean it all up, make it look pretty. Little wire brush. Clean out the insides where all the plastic was. Way prettier. So yeah, on the inside of that, it's nice and shiny. I don't expect to get all the plastic out, but it doesn't necessarily have to come out. Scrub the new joint. Moog 235s. If you're replacing U-joints on a 99 to 06 Silverado 1500. So the Moog 235 is greasable. It has a spot in the cap for a greaser, which comes in the bag with the C-clips. And your grease fitting right there. Man, this is nice. So the shaft that's going on is this one. I'll go ahead and wire wheel this up a little bit so I can get it ready to go. To squeeze this in without beating it and damaging it, to get this to sit here. So I went ahead and took the jaws off my vise to make it wide enough to actually slide the caps on to press them into the center of the U-joint. And I can go ahead and remove two of these caps. Keep in mind that these little needle bearings need to stay put and they're greased or they're new, and they should. Okay, let's put the U-joint in place first. There we go. Now with three hands, I can line this cap up on the needle bearings, push it in. Let that sit there. Same thing on this one, kind of center it up. Now I can go ahead and start tightening the vise up, letting it press my cap in. And I can let it center up on that universal joint. So press works the best, but if you don't have one, just kind of go ahead and walk it in. We're at the point now where I can get it into the flat part. There we go. So that joint is in there. And you go just a touch more on that top cap to be able to get the clip in it. It wants to, but it's just not there yet. Give it another little tap. You get to walk around the other side there. Snapped in by itself. Get the other side. You see this one's riding a little higher. Didn't want to go in straight. Yep. You want it to be able to move nice and easy, just like that. So you know the caps went in straight. And then the clip, if it doesn't want to go in, it's not down far enough. Let's get another couple taps. Use an impact socket that we don't mar up my chrome ones. There we go. Now we go ahead and press the yoke part on here. Same way, remove your caps, squeeze them from the outside in. You're good to go. This is where the grease zert is. It's on the drive shaft part. I don't think it really makes a difference. And the joint is able to move freely. That's a nicely installed joint. Now I can go ahead and put the clips in. They just pop in. I like them to do it a little tight, and if I got to add some, it's easier than taking away. Click right in there. Yeah, it's got to go a little bit more. Oh no, where to go? It's under the table. All right, so with that clip in, I'm going to give this side a little tap. A little Adam Sandler tappy tap of roux. Why that was have to fall underneath the dead middle, I don't know. But just a little bit more. Clicked in. So if you want to check yourself to make sure that you got the joints in straight to where the caps aren't twisted on the joint, if it falls by itself, both directions, you can pivot it and just keeps falling, you did it right. Now you can go ahead and put your grease zert in. Go ahead and burn this one out. All right, the top's ready to go. Let's get the bottom done. As soon as the bottom pops, we'll work the heat up to the top. Out of there. So I have the rear installed now. It moves nice and free. No big deal. Got some tape on it to keep the caps on so I can install it. And I'm going to go ahead and get the wire wheel out and get all the stuff off this drive shaft. I believe he had a gallon of muriatic acid bust in the back of the truck, and that's like the caulk that holds the bed together. So instead of boring y'all with wire wheel and a drive shaft, I'm just going to go ahead and cut to the install where it's all painted black and ready to go. All right, it's been a few days. Cold front's come through. It's like 35 degrees at 80% humidity down here in Louisiana. It is freaking cold. But the paint on the drive shaft is dry. Went ahead and wire brushed it all down. I'm going to go ahead and throw it up in RCSB. While I was playing around, I got a new truck bed for it. And then I'm going to go to the junkyard tomorrow. And the guy that had it before me had a gallon of muriatic acid. There's the hole in the bed. Leaked through. And I guess all the caulk that goes in between the bed had dripped on the drive shaft, and it was like a thick coating of white right through here. I got the grinder and got that all off. And I'm going to go pull the bed on this thing and get that cross member piece that holds up the gas tank and all. Knock out the rivets, bolt this one back in, and paint the frame on it next. So I got a new bed right there. We're gonna go ahead and throw that on here. Got to sand the whole truck down and paint it silver anyway. So let's go get the drive shaft put back in so we can say we're done with this section of it and move on to the next one. All right, so with all the universal joints pressed in it, new coat of paint. Go ahead and pull this tape off of here. And so tomorrow, I'm gonna go ahead and me and B, we're gonna ride down to Mississippi to the U-Pull-It, get the frame piece that I need. I'm gonna go ahead and do a bed swap, grind the frame all down, have it all painted nice and smooth. I went and clean the inside of the yoke out. It's all nice and slip up in there. And then let's go ahead and put this drive shaft in it. See if I can not scratch the crap out of it putting it in. All right, let's see that one leak now. But I know the front's good because it falls by itself. The back is nice and easy. They're greasable, unlike the factory ones. Now this won't fall out. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit that up with my 11mm wrench, tighten it all up, and here's pretty much the finish of the newly painted, refurbished drive shaft in the RCSB. It just looks a whole lot better than all the rust and stuff that's under here. Transmission's nice and rebuilt. The new oil pan on the 5.3, it's all painted nice and orange up in there. Gotta change the steering rack, the water pump, power steering pump. There's my trash can. It's like every time I start filming, something comes by and starts making noise. And having this open shop, I can't get away from it. So there's either road construction or a dump truck or something always going by. So this year, we're gonna hit the RCSB hard, try to get this one knocked out so we can jump over to my pre-runner project and get it knocked out. That way I can get my trucks done and move on to bigger and better things. So we can actually really modify something instead of just kind of going and fixing broken things. So next up on the agenda is gonna be the bed swap for the RCSB. I'm gonna go ahead and swap this bed onto here and fix the frame, paint the frame, do the rear axle flip kit while the bed's off, just so you can see everything that I'm doing. Gang Suburbs have been lowered, it's kind of done. Gotta get my trailer done to match it. And then we're gonna get on this pre-runner project that started before I even had the YouTube channel. We're gonna be throwing a 450 horsepower crate motor in it with some 456 gears on 35s. I live in Louisiana, so it doesn't have to be that pre-runner, but it's a good little entry level, mid-level pre-runner. So for 2025, we're gonna try to get this project knocked out, this project knocked out, and move on to bigger, better things. So hang in there with me all. Catch me on Fridays on Modified. I'm gonna try to get one up about every week, weather permitting. Catch y'all next week. Later.